Hey, sexy people, you are listening to the Living Better podcast, the podcast aimed at improving your life with tips, tricks, interviews, and much more. I am your host, Matt, and with my wife, Jody, we will share a life experience and dig up the best information we can find on improving your day-to-day life. So let's get right into it, and as usual, thanks for listening. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Living Better podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by the Sleep Monkey Premium Sleep Mask. If you're looking for a way to improve your sleep drastically, I've been trying different sleep masks in my life, and this is the single best investment you'll ever do in your life. It's super soft, it goes around your head, blocks all the light, and you're gonna get the most amazing sleep of your life. Seriously, if you want to buy something that's gonna help you go through the night without waking up, this is the single item you want to buy. Also, today's episode is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. If you don't know what an audiobook is, it's basically a book that's being narrated to you. So this is great if you're commuting to work or you're at the gym doing treadmill or something. Then instead of reading an actual book, you get to just listen to it and get the same valuable knowledge as if you would read it. So it's time saving, it's quite great. I love audiobooks, I use them all the time. So just go to audible.com/living for the Living Better podcast and sign up. They'll ask you your credit card and everything, but you get a free audiobook, and if you don't like the subscription, you cancel. No assholes before the 30-day period, and you won't be charged anything, and you get a free book. So today what I wanted to talk to you about is the importance in a relationship of open communication, working towards the same goals, as well as being open about sexuality and discussing boundaries, desires, fantasies, and everything else. So if I talk for my own self, in my case, 3 years ago I met my wife, and we totally fell in love, still madly in love to this day. And as we went through life, we had our goals. So we started off living in a condo, we wanted a house, we wanted to improve, change our vehicles and whatnot. And we started working hard to get to that goal as it goes, and we built very quickly by focusing on those goals. We quickly got a new vehicles, a house, got settled in, got comfortable. We got two beautiful dogs, and after that, what happened is a routine sets in. So you start being comfortable, you work towards your goals, and I think that for us, one of the thing that happened is that we stopped talking about where we wanted to go, what were our next goals, and what we wanted to focus on. And I think that that's a mistake that a lot of couples do. They start madly in love, they work towards goals, but they never really sit down to have an open communication about what they want to do or what's their next thing, or even their own personal goals. As a couple, you don't always need to have goals that are mutual. You can have your own separate goals, and one and the other can support each other to attain those goals. So I think that's very important. And one thing that I wanted to share with you guys that I started doing with my wife is once a week, preferably Sunday at the end of the week, what we do is we sit down and we exchange. We grab a tea or coffee, whatever, and we'll talk about the good things that happened during the week. So for myself, what am I grateful for that she did, all the positive that we had over the week, and what I liked about her this week. And as well, we'll talk about the things that we want to improve or the things that she can improve. And if there's anything that I did that bothered her that we could discuss and fix. And I'll do that with her, she'll do the same with me. And then we can talk as well about what are our next goals, where are we going together, and if there's anything that we want to do on our own. So I think that's important too, because once you get into a routine and life goes on, your desires, your needs, your wants will change from week to week, day to day, month to month. And if you don't talk about it, then it can build resentment. It can build resentment in a relationship just because you're silent and you don't sit down and openly fix everything. So a small issue, well, it can start this small and then it grows to something out of proportion because you didn't take the time to sit down and talk about it. So I think that's very important. For example, let's say one week, we had a wonderful week, we did tons of activities together, it was awesome, and I decide that next week I'd like to spend some time with my friends because I haven't seen them in a while, so I'm going to exchange that with her at the end of the week and say, we had an awesome week, however, I feel like I don't see my friends enough, or I haven't seen my friends enough lately, so next week I'd like to take a day and go see so-and-so. And she'll do the same. She can say that this week everything went well, or this needs to be improved, and I would like to do this and that. So by talking like that, we can always understand each other, where we stand, where we want to go, and what we need. And I think that's very important to discuss in a relationship. The other thing that's important to discuss, and some people are shy about it, I don't know why, is sexuality. We're all human beings. We all like, or at least enjoy sexuality, sex in particular, and sometimes I find that we refrain from discussing our desires, our needs, what we want, what we would like to try, and personal boundaries and whatnot. So I think that's a conversation that's fun to bring up from time to time with your significant other, your partner, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatnot, and talk about those things. And by talking about them and being totally open about all of that, it makes you connect on a deeper level. Instead of just wishing that, let's say, your boyfriend would do this or your girlfriend would do that, you can talk about it. And this way they have a better understanding or a better idea of what you want in regards to sexuality within your relationship, or what you need to fulfill on that side. So that's something very important that I find people just shy away from. We all pretend that when we see somebody talk about it, or somebody, I don't know, just being open about it, we pretend we don't enjoy it, or we look at them weird, but that's the best thing to do. Everyone should be comfortable in their own skins or sexuality, and at least that's a conversation that you should have openly in your relationship. So tonight I just wanted to share that with you, and maybe it's going to give you ideas within your own relationship. Like I said, just sitting down once a week and talking about the good things, not the bad things, because that's negative, but the things to improve, will always make you adjust to one another and will create a better bond between the two of you because you're going to discuss all of that. And this way you prevent resentment. And in my relationship, that's something, particularly on my wife's side, she keeps everything inside. She has a hard time opening up. And by creating that little exercise every week, it actually forces her to sit down and be open with me, because she keeps everything inside, but she's just the same as me. She has all her needs or wants, things she likes, things she dislikes. And by keeping them inside and not discussing with me at some point in time in our relationship, it created problems, because she either thought that I wouldn't understand, or she was too afraid maybe to tell me what she felt in that particular time. And looking back at it, with a simple conversation, we would have been able to fix it right away without letting it get out of proportion and without talking too much about my personal life. All I meant to say is be open and communicate with your partner. You're going to realize that most of the things that bothers you, or things that you want to do, you can just sit down. You're adults. You can fix it, communicate, and this should at least provide you with a better understanding and a better relationship. So don't take each other for granted. Specifically sit down and talk about everything. Try to cherish the love that you have, and be grateful. Be grateful for everything that your girlfriend, wife, or boyfriend, husband do for you. A lot of time we take everything for granted, and we forget that those people every day put efforts into doing something to make you happy. And because they do it repetitively so often, it becomes like the norm, and then you don't appreciate it as much, even though you should take the time every week to say, hey, thank you, you made my lunch, or thank you, you did the dishes this week, or you cleaned the house, you did this, you did whatever it is. We should be grateful for that. And by enforcing this positive attitude and being grateful for everything that one another do, it's going to help your relationship, because I believe that every human being, that's what they want. When they do something, either they give you a gift, a card, they do something significant for you, all they want is to be noticed. They want to be noticed, they want to be appreciated, and they want to feel valued. And those are the important things that you should focus on in your relationship. Hopefully, this little episode will give you a few tips to improve your relationship. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We have an email called livingbetterpodcast@gmail.com. You can send us an email with your questions, and we'll try to answer them as best as we can. So thanks, guys. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time for another episode of the Living Better podcast. Ciao.